18 rounds. It holds more than a Glock. Howdy folks, you're watching Deuce, and today is a momentous day. It's a momentous occasion because Deuce, has found his white whale, or at least one of them. I have a dozen white whales that I've got feelers out for, trying to find good examples of different firearms, and I found one of my longest searched for firearms. If you go many years back in my Deuce and Guns days on the internet, you'll see that I am a very big fan of the Marlin Model 60. I was never quite satisfied with the new version. Now, this is not the newest of the new versions. The newest versions are made in Kentucky. This is still made in North Haven, Connecticut. So what did I get, you ask? I got a Marlin Model 60 Glenfield, the squirrel stock version. It's got the Glenfield Mark scope on it. It's a little 4x15 power scope. And it is in near perfect condition. It looks like it was barely shot, and the biggest issue is dust. The stock is in fantastic shape. Everything is just basically, looks like the guy shot it a few times, then put it in a closet and forgot he had it. That's what it looks like. And it even has the plastic covers. It still has the scope lens covers from 1974. This was built in 1974 per the manufacturer's date that you can take off the serial number. So this is my white whale. This is what I've been looking for years and years and years. What are the differences between the old Marlin Model 60 versus the new ones? Well, number one is that it has a longer barrel. The barrel is about 3 inches longer than a new version. And because of the longer barrel, it has a higher ammunition capacity because it has a longer ammunition tube underneath that barrel. Because if you put this tube on that rifle, it'd be sticking out beyond the end of the barrel and it would just look stupid. A third difference is that the trigger guard is a metal of some sort. It is not ferrous because my magnet does not stick to it. So it's probably an aluminum casting, which is fine. Again, it's not plastic. The new ones have been plastic for a long time. Another difference between the old Marlin Model 60 versus the new one is that the new ones have a last round hold open where you shoot that last round and the action locks back automatically. This one does not have that. Marlin incorporated that into their Marlin Model 60s in the mid 1980s, I think 84 to 85. There was this magic 2 years where you get the old Glenfield long barrel design and a last round hold open. Not bad for that crappy little scope. All right, all 18 rounds on that one target. That is exactly what the Glenfield is meant to do. 18 rounds. It holds more than a Glock. I have now taken my old Glenfield Marlin Model 60 to the range a few times, and I am pretty impressed with it. Of course, there are some things that are lacking, so let's go over those first real quick. Number one, the old Glenfield 4-power scope. Honestly, it was garbage in the 70s, and it is still garbage today. It has not improved with age. It is not a cheese because it's not nitrogen filled. It's open to the elements practically. Nothing sealed on it. Let's see. It's only 4-power. It's blurry to begin with. I mean, I could get it down to where it's fairly clear, but it was always kind of, it's a very cheap made scope. Cheaply made scope, that's about it. So the probably biggest improvement I can make on this rifle is to put a real scope on it, a decent scope on there, such as a nice Leupold or a Vortex. A Vortex scope would be really good on here, something of that nature. I will not trash this though. This will stay with me because it has the Glenfield name on it. So it is part of the overall package. This is the way it came from the store, probably a Sears or something of that nature, wherever this person bought it from. One other bad thing about this is that the fit and finish of the stock to receiver, it is not very close. It is not very close at all. That gap there is pretty impressive. Compared to the newer ones, it's night and day as far as fit and finish is concerned. The wood itself, the stock treatment itself, is nicer in the 70s versus today. But they milled them out a little more accurately today versus in yesteryear. The detail embossed in these stocks is just really, really cool. The squirrel stocks are highly sought after amongst collectors of Marlin firearms. And it's very simply done. These are not etched in with artisan carvers. These are pressed in. These are embossed in with big press machines. So you could definitely, Marlin, if you're watching this video, get to it. It would cost you an extra 10 minutes per rifle to press in these designs into the stock. And it would just improve everything so much. It would just really, really make these Marlin Model 60s stand out amongst the crowd because it is getting kind of crowded in the 22 rifle segment of the market. One final issue that did not come up while shooting, but if you're really easygoing with the charging lever, it hangs up. So you can see that. It hangs up. It probably just needs some new springs in there, but it functioned just fine. I noticed that the springs in there are a little bit weak, which would be, the return spring going forward. And that's to be expected. The thing's almost, well, it's not quite as old as I am, but it's up there. As far as accuracy goes, you can see right there that it did very well. It held its own, even while using the garbage scope. So, is it any more accurate than a new Marlin Model 60? I don't know yet. I'm going to have to put a new scope on here to really dial it in and see how accurate the new ones versus old ones are, which will be a future video. So in the final conclusion, number one, should you buy a Marlin Model 60? Yes. Should you buy a new one? Sure. Now, this one was one of the last ones made in the Connecticut factory. This one was, of course, made in Connecticut factory. They moved the whole operation to Kentucky. I don't have a Marlin Model 60 from Kentucky. I do have a Marlin 795, which is the clip-fed, the magazine-fed version of the Marlin Model 60. And that is made in Kentucky, and it is just as accurate as these two. So if you want to buy a Marlin Model 60, buy any of them, whichever one tickles your fancy more. If you want the stainless steel model, great. If you want just the old school, normal version of it, great. They're all fantastic. But if you run across an old squirrel stock, an old Glenfield model, Marlin Model 60, don't hesitate to pick it up. You can find these, a lot of times you can find them for as much, if not more, than a new one costs. Is it worth more than a brand new Marlin Model 60? Probably not. But if you find it equal cost or less, which this was less than a new one costs, I say pick it up. I say pick it up wholeheartedly. Grab yourself a Marlin Model 60 from yesteryear if the price is right. Well guys, that's it for me today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to stay on a Deuce and Guns channel, go ahead and click on one of these two videos right over here. And that'll keep you watching away. If you have any comments, questions, or show ideas, leave that in the comment box of the video. And as always, you guys have a great day. See ya.